Hi, my tubies. Let me just fix this thing here, this picture. Hopefully, um, as you know, I am doing a series on the most popular questions about narcissists, the questions that people usually have. And our next question is, how did the narcissist move on so quickly? That's series 6. There's 8 series here. So let's just focus on that. How did they move on so quickly? The thing is that you don't understand is that they never actually moved on. They never move on from anyone. They are forever just constantly shifting people in and out of different spots so that they can strengthen their image of themselves, because they never change, as you and I both know, and they never grow. The easiest way, and I'm going to share this with you. The easiest way to understand these people is to realize that they are emotional toddlers in adult bodies. They never grow up, so they learn different ways to try to cover that up. They don't want people to know how immature they are and how, what is that, arrested development, as they call it. Now, if you pay close attention and you observe their behavior, you're going to notice that they're very childlike. You'll find yourself trying to parent these narcissists, and you'll finally come to realize that you will never have an adult relationship with these people. And I used to tell my ex about that, my ex narc. I kept telling him this feels so much like a parent child relationship. You know, mentally, whatever, we got along. Not mentally. We got along in certain emotionally, we could understand each other. But when it come to the brain part, like the adult part, like oh yeah, when it came to communication, that's where him and I we that's where it all fell apart. Because when it came to feelings, the emotional part, we get it. But when it came to the communication part, like the mental, the logical part, that's what was missing out of my relationship with my ex narc. You know, the smart part, the part that we need, that proves that we're adults. It's called making decisions. It's called uh, um logic, dude. He lacked logic. He had all this. He was good for me. Like I said, I am a workaholic, and he always knew how to distract me from working so much because I tend to overwork, which is another reason why I kind of liked him. But anyway, narcissists, they just swing around from vine to vine looking to fill the emptiness inside of themselves, because they're usually, and think about this, they're always bored. And for some of these narcissists, they actually feel afraid of feeling like they're worthless. And I could definitely identify that when it comes to they're always bored. I remember getting off work, and sometime I would let my ex-husband pick me up, the ex-narc, and I would say it's a Friday. So Friday is the night to do stuff. Friday and Saturday, that's when you're supposed to do stuff. So I would say there's a seminar going on at the library. The library is in a different location, not our neighbor. It's a seminar and it costs $5. He was cheap and stingy. I was like, I'm not going to no seminar. I don't want to sit there. It was around educated people, people who had their life in order, people who had it all together. He didn't feel comfortable around that because he felt that around these type of people, he can't shine. But if I would have said that there's something jumping off in the hood, yeah, over there in the gutter and in the ghetto, where you got a bunch of thoughts and horrors and everybody's brain is fried up from drugs, he would have been, I would have said that cost $10. He would have paid 15. Because in that environment, that's where he feels that he can shine. And I don't have a problem with someone shining because I know how to take the back seat. I don't have no problem with that. Like I said, I'm not that type of female that I need constant attention. I want attention if I'm teaching you something. I want attention if I'm talking to you. I think that's kind of normal. But when I'm going walking down the street, or if I come to a party, or if I'm sitting at a dinner, I don't have to have everybody all eyes on me. I don't. Actually, I enjoy listening to other people talk, especially if they've traveled a great deal. Because, I've traveled, to some extent, but they've been places that I haven't been. So I tend to travel to these places vicariously through them. So I have no problem taking a back seat. But you have some people who they have to be the constant center of attention, and that's my ex-narc. And when he's around people who are mentally healthy, he's not comfortable. That's when he starts getting irritated. That's when he starts feeling bad about himself. That's when you start to see the rage come out because he's not in his own environment. Instead of saying to himself, you know what, this is amazing. I get to grow. I get to learn a different side of life. And he should love a challenge. He should sit here. Come on. He's a Taurus with his moon is in Aries. His Mercury is in Aries. Everything about this guy is in Aries. They love a challenge. Why can't he sit there and say, I'm among these people. Watch me make every last one of them love the hell out of me. That would have been a nice challenge. But no. He felt inadequate. He felt uncomfortable. He felt less than. So in order for me to make him happy, I had to go hang out in the ghetto, in the gutter. And I have to hang out with, yeah, right, whatever. Not this girl, no. But anyway, moving on is not like a one and I'm done. Because we sit up here saying, how could they move on so quickly? They haven't moved on, sweetheart. That's not a one and I'm done. In the real world, when the next person comes along in a short period of time, like let's say they found somebody and it's a short period of time, there's no way in all hell. You know what that's called? That's called a transitional relationship. Not even relationship, but it's transitional. Now, let's think about this. I know I had my friends who they had got out of relationships, and some of these people can't stand to be alone, which I think that's a problem. That's retarded. But I don't know. You can't stand your own company. You can't stand time to do all the things that you wanted to do. Anyway, they automatically be jumping into another relationship. They just gotta have a man. Gotta have a man. Whatever. But anyway, when they become involved in these type of relationships, these transitional relationships, I'm sure that if you're their friend, you let them know that this is not going to last, sweetie. I'm sure you are smart enough to know that because this is transitional, And for some reason, we seem to forget that when we are talking about narcissists, they live in a different world where their definition of things differ from ours. Moving on is just one example of how they live in a different world. They don't see it the way we see it. In order to move on, that's a process. That takes time, but not to them. Hopping into bed with someone else the same day that they break up with you or marrying someone else 2 weeks or in 6 months later, this happens. So that's not moving on, sweetheart. They haven't moved on. They transitioned. Moving on, as you and I know, living in the world that we live in, it's called the real world. That's a process. That it happens over time through healing from the loss of the relationship. And you have to take time to reflect on what went wrong. So hopefully you won't make those same mistakes. But since narcissists, they never truly bond. They don't. They haven't moved on. You say, how did they move on so fast? Honey, they don't bond with anyone. They don't take adequate time to mourn. You just got out of a relationship. You was with this woman for 11 years. You was with this woman for 7, 8 years, 5 years. That's a process. You got to take time to get over something like that. But they since they never bond and it was never real to them, they don't take the time to miss what they lost. Or to make sure that, you know what, before I get into a new relationship, I'm going to take time to reflect on what went wrong in the previous one, so I don't make those mistakes. I need to take a breather. I need to fall back, and I need to take a breather. When girls are pushing up on me or men pushing up on me, no, look, I don't mind being friends. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to a relationship, no, that's not a good idea. Okay? I'm on a timeout. I'm on a break. And that's something that narcissists don't do. You have to remember that they don't think that they do anything wrong. So, of course, they don't take time to reflect on anything. Now, in contrast, When we have experiences, even the painful ones, we learn from them and we become better people because of the experiences that we had. We take time to make changes, especially big ones. Yeah, giving my heart to someone else or being in a relationship with someone else, that is a big one. And in relationships, that means you're going to try not to repeat the same mistakes. You're going to try not to choose the same people that you chose in the past, or the same people that was nothing like what you know you deserve. You know, you don't want to follow that same pattern. However, when it comes to a narcissist, they move on very quickly. Or how about this? It seems like they move on very quickly. And you know why? Because they are afraid of being alone. They can't handle being alone even with themselves. Now, how sad is that? They just can't do it. They can't. Now, if you want to learn more about this, you can learn more from fairytalesshadows.com. This is Sheila Truelove, loving you as always. And until next time, keep in mind, you always have a choice. Choose wisely. I love you. Bye for now.